that energy up when you're giving your all for 4 hours, 5 hours, however long you're performing for. For me, I don't get to stop. With you, you get to stop. You go, right, we'll do this scene and then stop, and then we'll do this scene and then stop. So it can be quite challenging. But I would definitely try and channel that between the 12 and 5 a.m. gig. But
isn't it so great that we both work in similar industries to a degree, like within the entertainment industry, so we can actually understand what each other is going through. I had a conversation recently with someone who actually works here, saying that they're having some difficulties with their partner because their partner just doesn't quite get it, like all the travel that comes with the job that we have, like the hours that we have to work and the preparation that we have to go through in order to like execute our job correctly. So actually, we really have to consider ourselves quite lucky, me and you, that we actually understand each other's roles. I can even call you and say, look, I had this issue at work, and you'll always 100% understand the issue that I'm going through because you've been in my shoes, like as a performer. So it's always as a performer. It's never like I don't expect you to get like game centric or anything when I ask you about things, because it's always like more of a personal issue or more of just like a coping mechanism that I need to talk to you about, which is, I think, amazing. And I think that we're really fortunate to be able to have that person that we can lean on that happens to be our partner, that also happens to understand everything that you're going through. You can, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like, that's the thing. I've been in a relationship, and so have you, with, and no offense to our old partners, but there were times where we would have full-blown arguments because they wouldn't understand the job I was in. And it really affected our relationship massively. I had a guy that used to think that I would have the time to have sex backstage and then between a track. These tracks are 3 minutes long. I don't know how fast you think I'm going to fucking whip off my clothes and stick it in. Sorry.
Jesus, Jamie.
I'm sorry, but come on, like realistically. Yeah. And he felt so, and I realized it wasn't me, it was him being unconfident.
Yeah, but it is that. It's an insecurity, isn't it? Because I had a similar situation.
And he wanted to come to every single gig, to stand by me and watch me. And it was too intense. I mean, and he'd always say, it's just to protect you, just in case. No, you're a fucking psychopath.
I mean, the one that I had was when I would go to gigs, and then at the end of the gig, like a dance job, so I used to be a dancer, at the end of the dance jobs, I would
go for drinks.
Yeah, either that or just like the entire crew, so the backstage people and of course the people that were like dancing on stage would take like a picture together, and that would get posted on Facebook, and then my partner at the time would see the picture and see the girls that I worked with and just be like, I just didn't know you were working with girls, or like girls that look like that or something like that. And I'm like, I can't control who gets booked on the job.
Imagine if you're bisexual.
Do you know what I mean? What, because all the dudes were all like hunky?
No, it's in like, who knows? I'm bisexual. I mean, I could go any way. Oh my God, she'd have a fucking seizure.
So
he jumped on the tube and he saw a man and then he saw a woman. What am I going to do?
Jesus, Jamie, Lisa.
I think we are very, very lucky and that we found each other. But after that experience, I kind of came into our relationship knowing what I wanted. Like I wrote a list down. So anybody that is looking for a partner right now, know what you want. I wrote a list down. I wanted somebody that was, funnily enough, really into videography, that liked to edit, because I was in emotion of editing. I've always loved YouTube and editing. So that was something where I was like, I need to find somebody that is as passionate with that as I am. And somebody that I was attracted to that was quite tall, that was funny, that made me laugh, and that was more friendly with me. And funnily enough, when me and Barney met, it took a long time to become a couple, and we were definitely friends before we went into a relationship together. And I really, really, I would say to everyone, try and be friends first, because it makes a big difference, a big foundation. One of the things that we did do is we were like hooking up, then we became friends, then we started hooking up again. I wouldn't recommend that, because when we actually did start officially dating, I always thought for a while, it took me a long time to break down the stigma that you were just going to one day wake up and go, actually, I don't want to be in a relationship, because that's what you did the first time. But you just weren't ready. And that's absolutely unacceptable. And I was very much on the path of, well, no, this is what I want. I would like a relationship. So if you can't provide that for me, I'm going to find it somewhere else. And that's why we went our separate ways. But we stayed friendly because we got on so well. And I really do think in the long term, looking back, that built the foundation of our relationship.
Yeah.
100%.
Because then we were both absolutely certain that we wanted to be together when it actually happened, which was great.
Yeah.
And I also
but you did have to like give me a chat a few times where you're like, Jamie, I'm not going to walk away. Like,
yeah.
You're fine. Yeah, have confidence in that, because my confidence was a little bit hindered. Is that the word?
Yeah, it was knocked. Yeah, knocked. Your confidence was knocked. I think that was it a different. How was the dynamic for you, having been with a guy who, you know, insisted on coming to all of your gigs and standing next to you, to me, who you would go, I'm going to gigs, and I'd be like, I can't be asked to go. You go enjoy yourself. Go and have your gig.
Yeah,
and come
I have
back.
to beg you to come to one of my gigs. Freaking out. It was, just to be honest, it was really, really refreshing. I'm an only child, so I've always been so confident and
independent,
stand on my own 2 feet, independence. So having a person that lets me just get on with it, and that trusts me as well. We have such trust within each other.
Yeah.
And he knows I'm a freaking flirt. I love a flirt. Don't get me, I flirt with girls and guys. It's
Sorry,
great.
what?
So I feel like there'll be times where like I'll be with one of my friends and Barney's joined us and I'm like, look at that guy, he's really dishy. Oh my God. And he's like, Jamie, I'm standing right here. And I'm like, oh, sorry. But that's the thing. I can be completely 100% myself with this man. How refreshing is that? What woman can actually be 100%?
Also remember that if that was reversed, you would not be the same. If some fitty walked in and I was like, she's hot, you'd be like, you serious, man?
There's so many times you said that before and I've gone, yeah, no, I've never ever given you the whip around. Thank you very much.
No, the funny thing that I did find was that if there was ever like, when you're in your single period as being a guy and you'd follow people on Instagram that post quite sexy pictures, like in bikinis or whatever it is. And then
back in the day when you knew
together,
how you could follow.
And then we were like, no, not even that. Me and you would just be like sat next to each other on the sofa and I'd be like scrolling or whatever. And then you'd look over my shoulder and you'd see like, and you'd be like, what's that? And I'd be like, oh, it's just this girl. And you're like, she's really fit. And I'd be like, oh, wow, she actually...
I'm not going to beat around the friggin' bush. But the thing is you turn around and go, if I said that. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't, actually. I'd joke around with you.
Okay. When we did have that little break, we had that little oopsie, you know, between us kind of first meeting, first dating, going on holiday together. I'm getting to it. Going on holiday together, coming back, and then me going... this is too much too soon. And then we had this break. In that little break, I'm assuming you went on like a couple of dates here and there. Was I always in your mind?
Barney, like I remember being in the shower. We had like, me and my dad had this small little flat in North London. Cut a long story short, I'm so open with my dad. Like we're a naked family. So we've always walked around naked with each other. It's never been a problem.
Something I've still not got used to.
Yeah, he walks around naked in front of Barney as well, which is mad. I come out of the shower and I just burst into tears and fall down to the ground and he hears me and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I really did think he was the one. I thought he was the one. I was just so content with him. And for him to just not, and I'm just like so sick of fucking dating idiots. That was one of the things. I was so fed up of telling everyone, what do you do? What's your life story? Going through the whole shit that you have to do with dating. I do this, you do this kind of thing. Yeah, that was really, really hard. And then I went back to my safe option, which was, I mean, we dated people in between that period as well. And I went back to somebody that I'd dated in the past because he knew me already. And I couldn't be bothered to like go through the
meet new people and go on first dates.
Yeah, I was just like, I've been dating for such a long time. I'd only had one real serious relationship beforehand. And when I say, I mean, I've had a few boyfriends, but nothing long-term like the previous boyfriend. So I was pretty much dating for a good 5 years straight. It was boring. It gets fucking boring after a while. So yeah, I was done. I was so done. And the reason why the other person didn't work out even at the beginning, because he just wasn't meant to be. And we had such different mindsets, complete different mindsets.
Damn.
How about you?
My girl went deep. I mean, I just, when I said that...
get me off your mind?
When I said that I wasn't, when it was too much too soon and I wasn't ready, I just genuinely wasn't ready.
We've never had this conversation. We've never had this actual conversation. Wait, okay. When you said, actually, I need to part ways, and I said to you, I sent you that message. I think I can find it. Should I find it?
Oh my God.
Should I find this message?
Not if it's embarrassing. Oh no. I guess that when we did part ways for that bit, I guess I just felt like I wasn't ready for anything at that point. We tried, and then
So why did you go on a dating website then? I've got it. I found that way too fast.
Jesus, she's done that before.
So do you want me to read it?
Oh, I don't know if I do. Can you give me the cliff notes? I don't want to be upset for the rest of the day.
This won't make you upset, I don't think. So I said, after you'd had that conversation with me, I said to you, I feel a bit shit now. I'm sorry I fell for you. I want to kind of meet someone who wants to actually be with me. LOL. Put the LOL just to soften the blow a little bit.
Yeah.
But you've become one of my best friends, and I'm so grateful for that. You have made these 5 months so epic. So thank you. At least we know where each other stands, though, on the positive side. LOL.
LOL.
And then does that make you sad? Makes me a bit sad.
Sorry, I've been together for 7 years now, babe. Don't worry.
You went, I feel so bad, man. We have had such a laugh. It's just, I'm not in the same place as you, and I totally get where you are coming from. I don't want to be selfish and continue as we are if it's going to upset you, because that's the last thing I want. So whatever you need to do, just let me know and that's cool. I don't want you to ignore me, but I don't want to bombard you with messages if it upsets you. And then I went, just give me time, okay? So during that period, funnily enough, after we decided to stop dating,
yeah,
my dad had a heart attack.
Yeah.
So it was like, mate, fuck me. That was when I was in my, not retrograde, what do they call it? Saturn return.
Yeah.
So it was all happening. Me and you weren't working out. Then Dad had the heart attack.
And my dad had a heart attack when me and you were in that honeymoon phase, didn't they?
I think a week before we met, your dad had the heart attack.
Oh, it was a week before we met?
Yeah, because we were standing on the balcony on our first date, and you were like, Dad's just had a heart attack and he's in hospital. And I was like, oh my God, what was it like? And you were like, it wasn't like a movie. He just felt a bit sick, and then they told him to go to the doctor.
Yeah, he said he was he went to the gym, and he had a shower after the gym, and he said he just sweat loads through his shirt, and he's sweating profusely, and was like, what is going on? Then he started to feel nauseous. Then he went to a local walk-in centre and just went in and saw a doctor, and he was describing his symptoms and everything like that, and the doctor was on the computer typing away, and the doctor said to him, okay, we'll get some help for you now. And Dad was like, what do you mean? And he was like, an ambulance is already on its way, you're having a heart attack. And my dad was like, what? And then they put him in the thing, and then he had stents put in, which just wide. If you look at your artery, is my finger, your finger is squashed when you have a heart attack.
How many
so
did
there's
he
no
have?
blood flow. Heart attacks or stents?
No, how many stents did he have?
Oh, I think it was 7.
Jesus,
stents are these little things that they put into your artery, and then they go and they expand, so it helps blood flow go through your artery.
It stops it getting, because the problem is the same with dementia, is your heart valves get plaque on them, and so does your brain. And that's what causes that's what causes dementia, and that's what causes heart attacks, because it sticks to all the sides. So Dad had the exact same thing, and you kind of technically, from the Friends episode with Phoebe having the heart attack with her arm aching, my dad said my arm's aching and I had flu symptoms, and you talking to me about your dad's symptoms. That's when I woke up one day, he was still in bed, and I was like, Daddy, you okay? What's up? You haven't woken up. And he's like, I'm really not feeling well. my left arm is aching so badly and I feel like I've got the flu, I instantly knew he was having a heart attack just from that comment.
Your dad's eating habits as well are just like it's insane to me that he's not more unhealthy than he is. Just like not in like a rude way or anything like that. It's just like it's insane. He still has all of his hair. He's like he like potters around, goes for walks on the beach, he builds furniture, he helps us out with all this stuff, and he eats like sausages out of a tin every day. I just don't understand.
But he's like, food's food. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, food is fuel
for him.
Yeah, food is fuel.
Food is fuel for him.
But that's not very good fuel. That's like
I know. So
that's
don't
like
do it. I
wouldn't. Crude oil instead of refined
That's why he's had
petrol.
a heart attack. Okay, that's why. But on a real serious note, that was one of the hardest years looking back of my life, but one of the best years because me and you
ended up
got together. We met in 2016,
forever.
and then 2017 this was all happening. So, and then 19 we moved in together, summer of 19, and then COVID happened in 2020.
So when we met, so from 16, obviously end of 16 is when we met. So we kind of got together in like 17, like early-ish 17, like April 17. So then it was 2 years after that. So I'd been living in Lewisham in London for a year at that point, because I lived there for 3 years, I think. So then, yeah, we were there. And then so in 2019. So me and you were officially
dating, So we were officially dating for like
2 years before we moved in together.
And
we moved in together in Crystal Palace. And then we were there for a year. And then we moved to where we are now. And I had a baby. What is going on? Why am I such an adult? I'm literally doing these jobs with like these gamers and I am so old. It's like, it's so ridiculous. I'm like, it's becoming more and more apparent to me how old I am. And people are going like, yeah, you know, I'm like investing in this company and I'm like doing this and, you know, I'm just like freaking out because I turned 28 this year and I'm like, shut the fuck up. You don't
and they
understand.
invested in companies. Like we need to start investing in companies. I know nothing about investment. If any investors would like to come and talk to us about stocks and investing, because we don't invest.
Just clueless. I'm just clueless about it. I'm a hoarder. I just
earn
my
Ashton
money.
Kutcher, and look at Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
Reynolds and Ash. But you know what? It's because of a risk. And me and you aren't real gamblers. We're not a good gambling couple.
Hey Ashton, is he pranking me? Hey Ashton, has anyone? Oh, I actually put a cheeky little Insta story out. I have one question.
Oh.
And it just says, "Coming to Australia?" ? Great.
Are you coming to Australia? Well, I mean, we could because my brother lives there.
Whoa! Yeah, that would be nice to go out there. It'd be quite cool. You know, I've been to Sydney before. I've been to the Gold Coast. I've never been to Melbourne. I've heard Melbourne's quite fun.
Yeah, I haven't done Melbourne, and I would like to. Have you done the Gold Coast then?
Yeah, I did Brisbane. I stayed in Brisbane for like 2 weeks. Yeah, it's kind of like it feels a bit more like the retirement home side of Australia where people go to retire, like expats. I felt quite young there. And it's like loads of really good surfing there, but it's like the waves are so big there that you can't really go there as like a beginner surfer. So I went there and I tried to surf and I just got absolutely demolished by the waves because they were just so big. It was like for pro surfers.
Oh, wow.
But I tried nevertheless.
Can we see our reviews? Like, have we even had any reviews with Shush Don't Tell Mum?
4.9 stars out of 5 on Spotify, and it's had 40 reviews. If you haven't reviewed this already and you're listening to our podcast, please go over and review it. That'd be really fun. And give us a cheeky follow on whichever platform you listen to us on. On Spotify, you can watch the video version of the podcast. You can also watch it on YouTube. We do it in 2 parts throughout the week. And if you want to just listen to the audio, feel free to go on Apple Podcasts.
So we have Maz, and Maz has said, we love this podcast. But that's it.
Yes, Maz. One for one,
Maz.
100% positive
Dane
comments.
Blanchet or something like that.
Also, did you hear that we are the #1 parenting podcast in Slovenia?
That's pretty freaking cool.
That is very cool. I'm proud of us for that. And we're going to be releasing more YouTube content as well. Literally, we're like content machines. I feel like I need to start reaching out to YouTube editors because
you keep saying this. I think
I know.
You do.
No, I just don't know like how much people charge to edit content. I need to find out. And all the people I've reached out to haven't got back to me yet. Like, you know, the agency that we work with, I have friends that have worked in this field. They haven't got back to me. So I need to just give everyone a bit of a nudge this week, I think.
Thank you so much for coming on Shush, Don't Tell Mum. We really, really appreciate all the support thus far. We hope you're loving the videos that we were making. If you have any content ideas, let us know. That'd be great.
You were just saying that as if I was a guest on the podcast. You were like, thanks so much for coming on Shush, Don't Tell Mum. This is my podcast as well, Jamie.
You actually made the podcast, but I produced the podcast.
Flick the nipples. That's what I think of you.
Anyway, I'm going to leave and you're going to say a secret. Because why not?
Yeah, I have a secret. Do you want to listen to it or not?
No, I'm going to go out the room and I'll come back in.
Okay.
Okay, I'll give you 1 minute.
1 minute.
Shh, don't tell Mum.
So this is the Shush Don't Tell Mum portion of the actual episode that we do to end each and every episode. So if you've made it here, thank you so much for making it to this point in the podcast. But I've been secretly watching Rocket on the Nanit camera that we have, the baby camera, when we had a brand new cleaner in. How weird is this? I'm like the creepy dad. We had a brand new cleaner and I wanted to check that, nothing dodgy was going on. And when Christine who is Jamie's mum, was changing Rocket on the thing, I was hearing her going like, oh, for fuck's sake, there's just shit everywhere, Steve. Somebody help me right now. Oh my God, there's shit. It's going all over me. So that was freaking hilarious. And no one is the wiser because I'm just sneakily looking on the camera. So shush, don't tell Mum. Shh, don't tell Mum.